What's up guys, I'm randomfrankp, and today we're going to be checking out the brand new mouse from Razer with the Razer Viper V4 Pro, which is an upgrade to not only one of the top selling mouse on the market for consumers, but the #1 most used mouse in all of the competitive esports scene, now gets a brand new re-release and an updated model. This comes almost 2 years since the release of the V3 Pro back in April 2024, and while first impressions may seem it's more the same visually, there's an upgrade internally in nearly every way that matters. It's lighter, it's faster with new switches, new 50K sensor, new 8K polling dongle, optical encoder, twice the battery performance, just lots of good stuff going on that makes the V3 Pro seem pretty dated in today's market. So we'll go through it all, give you guys a look and a rundown on my thoughts and experience with the brand new Viper V4 Pro. Now take note, as I just mentioned, visually at first glance, you're probably thinking, well, wait a minute, that's the same mouse. Those are literally the same dimensions from the V3 Pro, and yeah, because externally, the outside physical shell remains 99.99% unchanged. Shape is king, and at the end of the day, Razer didn't change a thing. So longtime fans of that Viper shape are going to be happy to know that we now have the same identical shape. It's a 1-to-1 all across the board, same dimensions here, zero physical changes to the shape. Which, you know, I could see Razer's point where if it's not broke, then don't fix their top selling mouse on the market. I did spot one extremely tiny difference, it's probably not even worth bringing up, but it does prove they're not just reusing old shells. On the V3 Pro, there was this fine line in the mold which separated the top part of the shell from the sides, which is now gone. So we have a new molding to the shell for a complete unibody result, and it still has that same matte coating, which I dig, feels good in the hand. And if you prefer more grip, they also include inside the box a set of rubber grip tapes for the left and right clicks and the sides of the mouse for you. So with the new release, all of the upgrades come internally here. I already mentioned new switches, new encoder, new sensor, better battery performance, and a new inner shell, which as a result cuts weight. So let's start there with the weight. Checking it out, the V4 Pro comes in just around 48.5 grams on my scale, with the bottom base and battery accounting for 13.5 grams, the main PCB at 4.5 grams, the switch circuit board at 5.5 grams, and the top shell at 21.5 grams. Which means if you're paying attention, yes, there's still more to be accounted for, with that remaining 3.5 grams coming in form of the skates and the internal screws. Now, if you're someone who's just really focused on cutting down as much weight as you can with your mouse, you can swap out those large PTFE skates with dot skates. The skates themselves do account for around 2 grams, so now with the dot skates, cuts 2 grams, coming in right at around 46.5. Now, one thing I want to point out, and kudos to Razer, they very easily could have used the same upgraded internals like the PCB and sensor from last year's Death Adder V4 Pro, right? Just throw the internals into a Viper shell and be done with it, but they didn't. In an effort to still reduce weight all across the board, they redesigned and cut down the actual size of the circuit board for both the new optical encoder and switches, so that's now smaller and lighter as well. But also, the main PCB got that same Ozempic treatment. They trimmed the fat, which at the end of the day, while only about 5-6 grams in total, it all adds up. And now listen, while we've got it apart here, I just want to address one thing. For the life of me, I just still can't understand why Razer refuses to put out a Viper Mini Pro, or just a new Viper Mini. Like, just taking a look at the inside and all the unused space towards the back and the sides. Like, they very easily could have just put these internals into a smaller Viper shell, and then the whole community would lose their mind after years and years of asking for it. I don't know, it's just a head scratcher, because you look at someone like Pulsar, who for years now has had 2 different sizes of their mice with like a medium and a mini. Now they're putting out large versions of those same mice. They have mice with a higher hump. They now have mice with the hump and then a narrow waist. So they're pumping out new shapes and sizes like every month, it seems, giving users the shape they love, but with different sort of, sizes and configurations. You even have Logitech, who, with the success of their Superlight, they put out the Superlight 2C, which is that same shape, but smaller, more compact. So, Razer, just do it. Moving on, also new to the Viper V4 Pro, which was introduced on the Death Adder, are the new switches inside. with their Razer Optical Gen 4s, which have been completely redesigned from the ground up, but like I said, they're the same from last year's Death Adder, but since the Viper V3 had Gen 3s, I'll still go over it for you guys. They're rated for 100 million clicks, the internal springs are thinner, which means it has a 12% lighter actuation force, and they're about a third smaller than the previous gen switches, so they're lighter and a more low-profile switch. For comparison's sake, versus Logitech SuperStrike, they equate this to around a level 4 actuation at 0.26 millimeters. That's the pre-travel before it registers the click. And interestingly, from attending the briefing for this mouse before it got sent out, they had more negative things to say about that new hit system. Understandably, Logitech and Razer are direct competitors, so Razer's gonna wanna find more negatives about the haptic feedback system, which means, unfortunately, we probably won't be getting that in any way, shape, or form in a Razer mouse anytime soon, which is kind of a bummer because these optical Gen 4s are definitely an acquired taste. I'll do a sound test for you guys. So as I pointed out in my Death Adder V4 Pro review, thick, loud ping pong of a switch, right? They're definitely louder than probably what you're used to. If you like more of like a muted, crisp sort of click, these just have that ping pong ball resonance is what it reminds me of. But other than that, everything feels really good. The new optical encoder feels great. No issues with the shell, so QC, top notch. Speaking of top notch, we do have their latest 50K Razer Focus Pro Gen 3 sensor. For comparison, the Death Adder was 45K and the Viper V3 was just 35K. So you're getting a massive bump in DPI, a 930 IPS max speed, and a 90G max acceleration rating, all top of the market specs. Razer also unlocked the DPI to be adjusted in 1 DPI step increments across their full range, which is pretty unheard of, meaning you can have a 3 DPI. And new to this mouse, they're introducing frame sync, which helps the mouse sensor time its tracking perfectly with your PC's polling cycle. So the movement data is captured now right before the PC asks for it, so it's reducing any input lag and wastes fewer sensor frames, which also helps with power efficiency. So if you don't know what that means, think of this translated to like how G-Sync works, with your monitor's refresh rate and your graphics card. So there's, less latency, less tearing, smoother overall performance, right? So translate that tech into now what Razer's doing with their polling cycles as well as your PC. So let's see how all that translates to raw numbers. I put it to the test with my OSLTT, which lets me test end-to-end click latency, but also has a light sensor built into the unit, letting me test the latency from the moment I click to when the switch is actuated and registered as an input on my PC. I've done testing this way for 2 years now, and I still feel it's the most accurate and realistic way to test mice because it'll give you an idea of what to expect because you game on a PC. You don't game on an XLAT tool, right? Your system naturally has latency while gaming, so why not conduct that test with the real-time end-to-end latency results? And there's no toggle for the frame sync, it's just done automatically, so it's tough to say, what it's actually doing or how I'm benefiting during use. However, the results don't lie. 1.32 milliseconds of latency at 8K Hz and 1600 DPI gives me the fastest results I've tested to date. Again, it's a new sensor versus the Death Adder, which held on to the #1 spot until now. So while FrameSync has more to do with the latency of your, mouse movement, I think the bump of the new sensor here is what's giving us a new #1. And hey, numbers don't lie. Tests for every single mouse I reviewed is conducted the same exact manner to give us a constant, a control. So you see the results. Viper V4 Pro, now the fastest mouse in terms of click latency, 1.32 milliseconds end to end. And I know the majority of this review was done, with the mouse unshelled for all this B-roll. You gotta look at the insides, but again, you know how it looks. all the upgrades and all the new stuff that actually matters is just done internally. I mentioned we have a new battery as well. It gets a major bump. The V3 Pro is rated for 95 hours, this 180 hours, so more than double the performance there. And why is it so drastic? Again, they're benefiting here from more power efficiency with the sensor and their hyperspeed tech, as well as the dongle. It's all more power efficient. I'm no stranger to the Viper shape. I've loved it for years, pretty much mained it for about 4 years daily. So when it comes to using this, absolutely loved it, felt right back at home. No issues on my end whatsoever. And it's cool to see, like I mentioned before, they're not just reusing the old shell. They're not reusing last year's modern internals and specs. Everything for this release was upgraded. I'll still hammer home the point that I think this mouse should have come with a size 2 mini option. They gotta get on board. People have been asking for years and years and years and years now. Literally, since back to 2020, people have been asking for a Viper Mini Pro. Back then it was the Viper Ultimate. So, times have changed. We've had 4 iterations of this mouse since and still no mini version. And yes, I'm excluding the Signature Edition in this talks because the price was crazy for those. The price here, actually pretty honorable. When the Death Adder launched last year, that was, I want to say $179. This $159. So you get a price cut from what it was going for a few months ago. And it's actually the same price the V3 Pro launched at. So still, relatively expensive, yes, considering some of the other mice out there, but nowhere near as expensive as it could have been. I was thinking we were gonna see close to the $200 range with the way that tariffs have been getting and just, the shortage of tech over the last year now, but they're still honoring $159.99. Last thing I'll say about this, which is actually also another bonus point, if you are sick of Synapse, good news, they're ditching it. They are going for a full web browser, which I'm pumped to see. I've actually had this mouse about 4 weeks since before this releases. So since we had it that early, it actually wasn't available yet, but they're gonna be putting that out. It'll be ready for launch. So again, if you've been tired of Synapse, you hate it, we finally get a web-based driver for the mouse, which is pretty cool. So love to see it. They're listening, kind of. They're giving us upgrades. Now we're just missing the mini version. They gotta do it. They gotta do it. So guys, that'll wrap it up for my review of the Viper V4 Pro, an upgrade in every single regard, an upgrade in every way that matters. So the top selling mouse with the V3 Pro just got way, way better. If you like this review and it helped you out, give it a big thumbs up to show your support. Feel free to follow me on all socials at randomfrankp. And lastly, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Hope y'all enjoyed. Have a good day.